Hey everyone, happy new year and welcome to Bad Yogi Q&A Wednesday with me, Erin Moss. Today we're going to be talking about mindfulness. Specifically, how do you cultivate a mindfulness habit when you have literally zero free time? I would bet that most of us feel super short on time and very overwhelmed. Between going to work, cultivating a social life, maybe raising children, finding time to spend with romantic partners, or just dating, mindfulness and meditation tend to fall to the very bottom of our list of things to do, and that's understandable. It doesn't exactly say fun when you think of mindfulness. And for me personally, when I fall away from mindfulness as a daily habit, I feel it. And I get a text message. I start to feel seriously uninspired and really anxious. So for me, a mindfulness habit every day is something that I've come to not be able to live without. But I just want to tell you that it doesn't have to be that complex. And I'll tell you what, I'm never going to be the person who has time to sit around and meditate for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes before I go to bed. Honestly, I told you I don't have time, but that's false. I just don't want to do it. So instead, I get my mindfulness and meditation in with more creative solutions. Here's a few ways that you can incorporate mindfulness and meditation even when you have zero time. Number 1, gratitude journal for 1 to 5 minutes every day. I know this is not a novel idea. We've all heard of keeping a gratitude journal. For the past few weeks, I've actually been forcing myself to take just a couple of minutes and jot down a few things that I'm grateful for every day before I get my day started. It just encourages me to pause and reflect on things that are positive so that I don't have a frazzled start to my day, but instead I'm starting it off with intention and with purpose. And I don't care how little time you have, you can do this no matter how strapped for time you are. You can keep a block of Post-its or a little notebook in your bathroom and just jot down a few things before you jump in the shower. Do it after you've put the kids down for the night. Or even sit in their room when they're asleep and jot a few things down there. It seriously doesn't have to take longer than 2 minutes, and nobody doesn't have time for that. Okay, the second thing is to experience mindfulness with all of your senses. And what I mean by that is actually more of a question for you to find out what that means for you. So let's do it this way. What is something you typically rush through but could slow down a little bit? Dishes, vacuuming, bath time with your kids, having a glass of wine with your partner. What things do you find yourself doing just to check off the list? How can you be more present in those moments instead of staying up in your head all the time? So mindfulness and meditation doesn't just have to be sitting still and introspecting. Mindfulness comes in our real everyday moments. It comes in paying attention to the person who's speaking in front of you. It comes in not rushing through tasks of the day, especially when you're spending time with your family. It comes in paying attention to the tasks that you don't like, because that way you're not spending time stressing about how much you hate that thing, but you're just focused on getting it done and not freaking out while you're doing it. Okay, the next one, number 3, is walking. Walking is so meditative for me, you have no idea. Whether I'm outside, which is always better for me, or on a treadmill, I can just allow myself to get fully lost in deep thought, or even lost in an inspirational podcast that I put on. Number 4, literal meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be long. A lot of us feel like we need, I have to carve out 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes, and that's not true. It can be as simple as inhaling for a count of 8, holding for 5, exhaling for a count of 8. Simple. It takes 60 seconds and you can extend it out for as long as you need. Do it at your desk at work, do it in the car, do it when you're watching a movie. You can do this anytime. And lastly, number 5 is journaling. I'm a huge fan of writing and journaling just to trap our thoughts on the page. I rarely prompt myself. Half the time when I wake up and journal, I'm just stream of conscious writing, talking about what I think and feel that day, maybe something that made me think of something else that I heard in a story on the news. It doesn't matter. It's not always super easy or fluid, but many times it brings certain emotions or thoughts to light that I didn't even know were there until I started writing about them. So writing is just a great way to be mindful, and it's also like free therapy. So these are my favorite ways to incorporate mindfulness that take very little time. Now, as usual, I'd love to hear from you. What are your best practices? What are your go-to ways of being mindful that use all of the senses and not just stillness and silence? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure you tune back in next week for something new. Head to badyogi.com to see more things Bad Yogi, free classes, Q&As, tips and tricks. It's all there. Thanks again for hanging out. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you right back here next time.